Hello all. So this is the analysis of the poem Ode to the West Wind by P.B. Shelley. So what is an ode? Ode is a short lyric poem. So these are the important details about the poem. That this ode was written by P.B. Shelley in 1819 in Florence, Italy, and was published in 1820. In this poem, he appeals to the west wind to infuse in him the energy and the power so that he can write good poems. The next point is he treats west wind both as a preserver and a destroyer. So he's talking about the dual role performed by the west wind as a preserver and a destroyer. Preserver of new seeds and destroyer of old and decayed leaves. The theme is very clear that the death and destruction will be followed by birth and regeneration. Obviously Shelley was an idealist, so he was of the view that the bad phase would be followed by a new phase and a good phase. Okay, so he was always hopeful. In this poem, he talks about the impact of the west wind on leaves, clouds, and sea. He is inspired by the intensity and the force of the west wind, and he wants to share the same kind of force and intensity so that he could become a better poet. The poem is written in prose rima with rhyme scheme ABA, BCB, CDC. Come to the next topic, which is literary devices in the poem. So there are so many literary devices which are used in the poem. First is simile. So what is simile? When there is a comparison by using like and as. So here dead leaves are compared with the breath of autumn. This is a simile. Personification, where a non-living entity is treated as a living entity. So here poet is addressing the west wind as if west wind is a person. There's also a metaphor when there's direct comparison without using like and as. So here there's direct comparison because here poet is compared to the wind. Alliteration is also there, repetition of consonant sounds. So here is the repetition of consonant sounds like wild west wind, sister of the spring, here or here. Come to the text of the poem. So poet starts the poem by addressing to the west wind, and he calls west wind to be the life of autumn season. So Shelley's autumn is different from Keats autumn. Keats autumn is a autumn of fruitfulness, ripeness. Okay, but for Shelley, autumn season is a season when west wind blows with intensity and force. Okay, and now here what is happening, he is comparing dead leaves with ghosts. So he says that west wind carries the dead leaves and drives away dead leaves the way ghosts are driven away by the sound created by the magician. So here dead leaves are being compared with the ghosts. And now he talks about the various colors of these dead and decayed leaves. These leaves are of yellow, black, pale, and of red color, hectic red, decaying red color, and pestilence stricken multitudes. What does it mean? And these leaves look like as if they died of they died because of some infectious disease, or as if they were eaten by worms. Okay. O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed. Now he calls west wind to be the chariot of the seeds, because west wind carries these seeds and deposits them under the surface of the earth, where they remain like corpse and grave until the spring season comes, and the spring wind carries them to the plain areas and hilly areas where they form buds and they bloom with flowers. So here azure sister means actually during the spring season sky is clearly blue. That's why spring season is called azure sister of the west wind. So when spring season would blow its trumpet, clarion means trumpet, and when spring season would come, then these seeds which are buried under the surface of the earth would form buds and will bloom with flowers and will make the plain and hilly areas look beautiful with its colors. Okay. Now he calls west wind to be wild because of its intensity and its force and its fierceness, and which is moving everywhere. And he calls that west wind is destroyer and preserver. He talks about the dual role performed by west wind, a destroyer of old and decayed leaves and preserves new seeds. Come to the next lines. Now he's talking about the kind of disturbance which is caused by the west wind in the sky. Now he's talking about the impact of the west wind on clouds. Okay, so sky's commotion means the disturbance caused in the sky. So now he says that here actually clouds are being compared to the dead leaves. The way west wind carries the dead leaves away. Similarly, west wind carries loose clouds, okay, and scatter these clouds in the sky. And these clouds look like as if they are separated from the branches of heaven and ocean. Actually, Shelley had a great knowledge of science, so he's reflecting his knowledge of science in this poem as well. The way, you know, clouds take water from the ocean and are scattered in the sky. Okay, so now he calls clouds to be the messengers of rain and lightning, and which are spread in the sky. And when what happens actually when lightning occurs, he compares the lightning with the bright hair of Maenad. Maenad is a reference to Greek mythology. Maenad was a follower of god Dionysus, who was a god of wine and revelry. Okay, so here a poet compares the lightning which occurs in the sky with with the bright hair of Maenad. Okay, and these clouds are the messengers of approaching storm. Okay, and now poet says that the west wind is like the funeral song of the dying air, and the night is like the erected dome of the storm. And the vapors which are there on the dome will bring about, you know, black rain, fire and hail, so will bring about storm. So this night would be of stormy night. Okay, come to the next now line. Now he's talking about the impact of west wind on the ocean. Now he says that Mediterranean Sea, who is sleeping because of the sweet sound created by the various rivers which are flowing into the ocean. So blue Mediterranean Sea is sleeping near the island in Bay, Pumice Island which is formed of lava. Okay, lava, created by the volcanoes. Okay, and now this Mediterranean Sea is also witnessing the old palaces and towers which have collapsed into the ocean because of earthquake and any other natural calamity. And the reflections of these old palaces and towers, you know shiver because of the intensity of the west wind. And now these old palaces or towers are overgrown with plants and moss and flowers. Okay, and now he says that it is, and the entire atmosphere is so beautiful that he is not able to portray them. Okay, next he says, next is talking about the Atlantic Ocean, that the intensity of the west wind is so strong that Atlantic Ocean divides its waves into two chasms to give way to the west wind. Okay, and the next thing he says that there are lots of plants and vegetation at the surface of the ocean, which you know which get scared because of the sound created by the west wind, because of the thunder created by the west wind. These plants and vegetation which are at the surface of the earth, they grow gray with fear, they get scared and they tremble and they uproot themselves. Okay, they get uprooted. Now come to the next lines. Now the poet says that he wants to become a a dead leaf, or a dead leaf, or a cloud, or a water, so that he could feel the intensity of the west wind. Okay, and he could share the same passion and the intensity and the force of the west wind. And now he says that, oh uncontrollable, now he calls Vaswin to be uncontrollable, and says that he was also uncontrollable and he was so full of vigor and energy during his childhood. Okay, but now because of the lots of problems that he's facing in his life, he has lost that kind of enthusiasm and zeal and energy. And now he says that now he's witnessing how this west wind is moving around in heaven. And and it was his dream, his vision during his childhood to surpass the speed of the west wind, to surpass the speed of the west wind and to run with the speed of the west wind. This was his dream when he was young. And he says that he would never have asked west wind to uh, to motivate him or to inspire him when he needs her the most. Actually, at this moment, he needs the, kind of inspiration and motivation from the west wind, because he is passing through the bad phase of his life. So he wants west wind to lift him as a wave, a leaf, or a cloud, or infuse in him the same intensity, the same power, and the same zeal and enthusiasm which he once had when he was a young man. I fall upon the thorns of life, I believe. Now he says that he is going through the difficult phase of his life. He is suffering a lot of hardships at this moment, and is bleeding. A heavy weight of ours has chained and bowed one to like this. At one point of time, he was also tameless, swift, and proud, the way West Wind is. But now, with the passing of time, he has faced a lot of problems and hardships in his life, and now time has chained and bowed him. Okay, time has overburdened him. Okay, his miseries, his sufferings have overburdened him. In the next line, he says he wants the west wind to make him her musical instrument, so that she can blow through it. The way, west wind blows through the forest, similarly he wants west wind to blow through him. And he says that he's also going through the autumn season of his life, when he says, what if my leaves are falling like its own. So he says that he's also going through the autumn season of his life, and the sound which is created by west wind is so soothing to him. Is so soothing to him, although he is sad, but it appears sweet to him. And then he says that that the west wind is fierce, okay, because of its intensity, because of its force, okay. This west wind is fierce and wild. And now he says that he wants his dead thoughts to be scattered over the rest of the universe, and to prophesize about the new birth. He wants to get rejuvenated, and he wants it to get rid of his dead thoughts, and he wants to have new ideas. Okay, and by the incantation of this verse, scatter as from an unextinguished hearth ashes and sparks. Now he says that he wants Westwind to scatter his ideas on philosophy, on politics, or any other matters to the rest of the mankind. Okay, and the trumpet of prophecy, what does it mean? That there is a message which is there in his words, which he wants Westwind, to reach out to the rest of the world. That what is the message? That if winter comes, can spring be far behind. That if something bad is happening, then it will be followed by something good. So the present misery and sorrow will be followed by new hope, new life. Okay, so this is the poem.